Clio Cup Series coming from Hockenheim today. It is the first meeting of the season for the Mid-Europe Championship, and that is joining the France and, of course, the Clio Cup Series Championship as well. Race here in Hockenheim. It's 25 minutes plus 1 lap for today. We have a staggering grid of 42 cars that are about to tackle this 4.574 kilometre circuit. It's a bit toasty out there, track temperature of 42 degrees, a little bit hotter than I think people were expecting in Hockenheim. Here's how they line up. It is the reigning Mid-Europe champion Gabriele Torelli on pole position alongside the reigning series champion David Pouget. Then our championship leader Anthony Girardo and our junior championship leader Jack Byrne on the second row of the grid. His nearest championship rival is Leonardo Arduini just behind him, and then Nicolas Milan, the French championship leader, just behind them. Then comes Adrian Schimpf, the Spanish challenger champion, alongside Alexander Finkelstein. Guillaume Mail on challenger pole position, championship leader in that class. Lorenzo Van Riet completes the top 10, and then Pierre Bredoux and Nikola Milkovic on the 6th row of the grid. Behind them we have Alejandro Schimpf and Andreas Stucki. Florian Vonturi and Matthias Doll alongside Maro Polderman and Nuterik Knudsen on the 9th row of the grid. Thomas Campan and Benjamin Kovar, and then comes Damiano Porchetti, Aurélien René, Calvin Comte and Daniel Niffler on the 12th row of the grid. Jarolos Honslik and Nikola Tosic, Quinto Stefana, Cedric Delcroix and Felix Heiberg, and then Laurent Desias, Michael Carey, Steve Compan, Horn, Roman Lavacat, Stefan Polderman and Nava in position 36, and then Jean-Louis Carponchin, Michael Fay, Samuel Charlene and Remy Belleville completes a 40-car grid. So it looks like we've lost a couple of cars since qualifying. The formation lap is underway, and we will go for 25 minutes plus 1 lap of racing. And if it's anything like it was in Portimao, then expect quite a bit of carnage. I understand that the drivers had a bit of a talking to since Portimao, just about the conduct of their racing, because it was a bit argy-bargy last time out. This is the 3rd meeting of the season for the Clio Cup Series. First for the Mid-Europe, and that also means that you may have recognized the name Jaroslav Honsik, of course better known as Jardier, the sim racing YouTuber, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, has raced in the real world before, in the BMW 130i Championship. He won that championship back in 2006, but is now tackling Clio Cup competition. Said he'll be the guy in 30th position with the biggest smile on his face, but starting inside the top 25. So great stuff there. But of course, up at the front of the field, we've got quite a big challenge going on. Anthony Girardo, our championship leader, starting on the 2nd row of the grid. Gabriele Torelli, now 2nd in the championship, starting on pole position as they start to form up on the grid. It is a standing start for the Clios, and 40 of these 5th generation machines powered by the 1.3 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. So you can barely see the back of the grid underneath the awning, but if I peek out the commentary box, I can see cars still just making their way around the last couple of corners. It's such a massive grid that actually quite a few of the cars are going to be starting on the last corner itself. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to get off the line, actually. But up at the front of the field, it's all straight and true. Anthony Girardo on the right-hand side in that white and red machine. Gabriele Torelli, I should say. It's his teammate starting behind him. The 2 Rangoni Corsa cars that finished 1-2 in Portimao last time out. David Pouget in the white and yellow machine from GPA Racing that starts in between them on the front row of the grid. Jack Byrne, the junior class pole sitter as well, On the second row of the grid, the revs rise. We have all 5 lights on. We're underway for Clio Cup Series in Hockenheim, and not a great start made by pole sitter Torelli. He is jumped immediately by the reigning champion David Pouget, and his teammate Anthony Gerardo fancies a run up the inside as well. The 2 Rangoni cars going side by side through the first corner at the Nord curve. Plenty squabbling further back, 1 car up on the curb, but clear through there, and Torelli did manage to hang on to second place, just about there ahead of Anthony Gerardo, the championship leader. But David Pouget with a very healthy advantage, bit of contact in the middle of the pack, 1 car having to take to the runoff area, but gets back on with no major dramas. And Pouget's lead is already 1 second coming onto the Parabolica for the first time of asking. Then Gabriele Torelli, Anthony Gerardo, Nicola Milan up into 4th position ahead of Jack Byrne. That's the man who is second in the Series Championship and our France Championship leader, of course. All being very well behaved down into the hairpin for the first time, although a couple of cars playing devil's advocate with the track limits on the exit of the corner. But for David Pouget, it's a very healthy lead coming into the Mercedes-Benz arena for the first time. He is being chased by Gabriele Torelli. I mean, these guys had such a mega battle last time out in Portimao. It did get a bit argy-bargy. It's all been very clean so far. Seems like the words that I had with the drivers have been listened to and adhered to. Oh, now the start for David Pouget, though, and for Guillaume Mao, another one of our race winners from the opening meeting at the Garo, is under investigation. So possible jump start there. Nicola Milan got it very sideways on the exit of the Mobile 1 curve there, running very wide through the very quick right-hander. So, yeah, we do have a start under investigation for our race leader, and Guillaume Mao. He's currently in 9th position. They complete the first lap, got a bit of side-by-side further out. That's one of the Schimpf twins in 113. Which is Adrian Schimpf trying to get up on the inside. Looks like it's Van Reert that he's just gone past there for 13th position. And it's suddenly closed up between the top 3, hasn't it? They're starting to pull away a little bit from Nicola Milan, but the Rangoni cars have closed right up on David Pouget. So he had a 1 second advantage this time around. It's now less than a quarter of a second. And Gabriele Torelli could well be in a position to challenge by the time they get down into the hairpin. Of course, the reigning Mid-Europe champion, and before that, Italian champion as well the year before. With the top 3 starting to break away. Torelli looking down the inside as Pouget locks up his brakes side by side for the lead, coming through the hairpin, and Pouget runs out wide as they run side by side once again on the exit of the corner. Torelli here will have the inside line for the next right-hander. Pouget's going to have to try and brave this one out. Torelli up on the curb. The advantage will now swing to Pouget. Gerardo going to make it 3 wide. Pouget has got cars either side of him, and both Torelli and Gerardo make it through on David Pouget there. Wonderful bit of coordination there from the teammates. These 2 cars won 2 in the last race in Portimao, and it was a last lap exchange for the lead between these 2 that went in favor of Anthony Gerardo, who took his 2nd victory of the season. Oh, Milan getting 2 wheels into the gravel there in 4th position in the Castrol car. In his bid to try and close up on the 3 cars in front of him. He ran a little wide there on the previous lap, but that was right into the gravel, and almost a race-ending moment there for the man who's won so many titles in Clio Cup competition. And if you remember, the red flag in race 1 in Portimao as well had turned into his own mechanic as he was fixing some damage on one of the front corners of his car. It got quite close on the first lap between himself and Pouget. 2 Rangoni cars. Are they going to go side by side once again here? Gerardo's looking for the lead into turn 2 on the inside, but no way through. Torelli shuts the door. Pouget's not out of this one just yet either, as he is still right with them. 3/4 of a second separates the top 3. Nicola Milan a little detached. He's 1.2 seconds back, and 10 seconds to be added to the race time of Guillaume Mao for being in the incorrect position on the grid. So that's an interesting one. Haven't heard anything yet about David Pouget's start investigation. And Gerardo now on the inside, going for the lead of the race. The championship leader hits the front at the third lap at the hairpin. David Pouget trying to take advantage of that. Well, he tucks back in behind Torelli. But still, these three cars, you can't separate them. So Anthony Gerardo now leads this race. He leads his teammates from Rangoni Corsa, Gabriele Torelli, not by much at all, only half a car length between them. Gerardo leading the championship and leading this race as well. Only repeat winner from the championship so far. Had a big swapper there by the looks of it going into the Mobil 1 curve. Runs out wide. That could give Torelli the lead back again. He'll be on the outside line for the Sachs curve. It's a cambered corner and Torelli retakes the lead. So we've had 2 lead changes on just 1 lap. Only 6 minutes into this race and we've already got a thrilling fight at the front of the field here. They're cocking their wheels coming through these final 2 corners, getting that extra bit of rotation as they lean on one side of the car. Start of lap 4 now, and Torelli leads Gerardo now, and Pouget, not by much. Nicolas Milan is starting to close that gap. He's now just 0.6 of a second off the back of David Pouget. And then behind them, we've got the junior class battle going on between Adrian Schimpf and Leonardo Arduini as well. Arduini second in the junior standings going into this weekend. It's Jack Byrne who's dropped a little bit. He's 3rd in class and 8th overall at the moment, but let's stick with what's happening up at the front of the field. The last time around, this is where Gerardo took the lead of the race from Torelli. Could well do it again. Unleashing on 200 brake horsepower down the Parabolica. And then they'll lean hard on the brakes and asking for a lot of those Michelin front tyres. But Torelli defends into the hairpin at turn 6 this time. Now, can Gerardo get the up and under? That's what he's certainly trying to do. Milan runs wide again out of the exit of turn 6, and Gerardo not quite able to get the momentum he needed, can't draw alongside. So sticks in behind. I almost wonder if they're going to work together to try and pull away from David Pouget, and then, of course, the Milan competition car, Nicolas Milan. Next in the Mercedes-Benz arena, Torelli taking a lot of grass through the right-hander at turn 10. Coming back into the stadium section again. Fans have been getting a great view of the cars from that grandstand. They're all flirting with the gravel trap on the left-hand side there. Plenty of curb taken there by Anthony Gerardo coming through the Sachs curve. Still Torelli who leads. Remember, he led so much of the last race. Oh, we've got a problem here for Alejandro Schimpf in 199. He's parked up and the safety car has been deployed. So we've got a safety car out at the start of lap 5. Is it going to get out in time before Torelli meets the pit lane exit? You would certainly hope so. I don't think it has, though. And so Schimpf here, he's parked up on the exit of turn 6, and it looked like there was some slight damage to maybe the right rear corner of his car, so maybe he's had a punt in that corner. It's a shame for him either way. Alejandro Schimpf was 4th in the junior standings going into this weekend, having just taken back-to-back victories in that class in Portimao. His twin brother Adrian will hopefully score some good points for the family. Of course, they are still rivals out on track, and Alejandro was leading Adrian going into this weekend. So safety car conditions then on lap 5 in Hockenheim. It is Gabriele Torelli who leads his Rangoni Corsa teammate Anthony Gerardo, then David Pouget, the reigning champion, in 3rd position, Nicolas Milan in 4th. Then the junior class battle between Adrian Schimpf and Leonardo Arduini. Alexander Finkelstein separating them and the next junior car, which is Jack Byrne, the championship leader in that class, and Florian Venturi. Then the challenger class pole position is Lorenzo van Riet and Guillaume Mao in 10th and 11th overall. Matthias Doll and Damiano Puccetti Aurélien René and Maro Polderman completing the top 15. Jardier fans might be a little disappointed to hear he's fallen outside the top 25. He's currently in 26th position. But doing a great job in his Clio Cup debut. Of course, yeah, we talked about his real-life racing exploits, but has also tested a Lamborghini Super Trofeo car, Porsche GT4 Cayman, and the Alpine A110 Cup as well. Of course, the Alpine Series is a sister brand to the Clio Cup Series. And they are aligning themselves much more closely this year. The plans to run at 6 meetings for the championships. All 6 of the Alpine meetings will be with the Clio Cup Series. There's 9 meetings for the Clios this year. So far, we've had the French and Spanish championships out at the first 2 rounds alongside the Clio Cup Series. This weekend, it's the French and Mid-Europe. First time we've seen the latter out. And then next week in Misano, it will be the Spanish championship and the first meeting for the Italian championship as well, before we go on to a triple header, so to speak, at Spa-Francorchamps in 2 weeks after that, which will be the Spanish, Italian and Mid-Europe championships as well. We go on to Magny-Cours, Barcelona, Paul Ricard and Monza in October. That will be the championship finale, where we will have the Italian championship out with us as well. Safety car has now been caught by the queue, so I think they just missed the leaders when they came around the first corner last time around, which is hopefully it hasn't taken too long to get that car of Alejandro Schimpf taken away from the hairpin at turn 6. Of course, if you're new to the Clio Cup Series, what we have is 5 individual championships, so to speak. A European championship of the Clio Cup Series, which is then joined by 4 regional championships, which is Italia, France, España, and Mid-Europe, each with their own point standings and different sub-championships for the junior category, which is for drivers under the age of 23, then the Challenger Cup, which is for drivers aged 23 to 44 without sporting success, and then the Gentleman Cup, which is for drivers aged 45 and over who have not had sporting success. Of course, this is one of 2 25-minute plus 1 lap races. We'll do the same again tomorrow. Just over half race distance now, 12 minutes plus 1 lap left on the clock. And we're about to enter the 3rd sector, and safety car lights are still on, so we will, looks like we'll do one more tour of the circuit under safety car conditions before we get back going again, hopefully. Of course, these guys are all fighting for part of a €270,000 prize fund. The champion getting their own Clio Cup car, prize fund, and also a few free entries to the 2025 championship, and a test in the Alpine A110 Cup. You can choose to move into the Alpine Elf Cup Series, and each of the regional champions getting a slice of that as well, with a prize fund and some entry fees and a test. Of course, big difference between this year and last year is no more drop scores. So each series will have 5 race meetings, 10 races in total, but they all count towards the standings now. So the pressure's on not to have a difficult weekend, and you can certainly say that for a few of the drivers, but this is Clio Cup racing. It's extremely competitive. So it will be Gabriele Torelli will lead them away. Torelli Trelli, as we mentioned, winning Clio Cup titles over the last 2 years. First of all in the Italian Championship, and then last year the Mid-Europe Championship as well. Before that was, or before he joined the Clio Cup in 2021, was racing in the Mini Challenge over in Italy. 33-year-old, competing against his slightly younger teammate, 29-year-old Anthony Gerardo from Montpellier, who has spent an awful lot of his career in the Clio Cup, starting out in 2018 in Clio Cup France, and now scoring points in the Clio Cup Series. Some drivers are scoring points for both the Clio Cup Series and their own regional championship as well. So some of these drivers will be out at each of the meetings, but on occasion only scoring points for their respective championship. Now, incident under investigation, cars 199, that's Adrian Schimpf, who we saw parked up, and car number 11, which is Nikola Milkovic. So that might explain how Adrian Schimpf ended up parked up at the side of the road at turn 6. But the safety car lights are off, and Torelli is backing the pack up now. We will go green with around 8.5 minutes plus 1 lap left on the clock. And battle recommences between the Rangoni Corsa cars, with David Pouget behind them, Nicola Milan now right in this fight as well. The junior battle on the back of them as well. We go racing once again in Hockenheim. The green flag is waved. A couple of cars jostling out behind, trying to look up the inside into turn 1, but I think it would be a very brave move to try and do anything the first time of asking on this restart. Cars making their way safely through. Now they're starting to fan out as they head towards the first big stop at turn 2. Plenty of side-by-side, but up at the front of the field it is still Gabriele Torelli who leads Anthony Gerardo. Torelli got a great launch out of turns 3 and 4 and has pulled quite a nice gap over his teammate Anthony Gerardo, and in turn has done the same on David Pouget as well. But it's closed up once again, and Gerardo getting his car sideways, trying to get it stopped. And he's got alongside the two teammates side by side. Milan once again deciding to design his own racetrack on the exit of turn 6, but side by side for the lead now. Gerardo will have the lead, will have the line going into the right-hander. Torelli's already done this once before with Pouget, so he knows a little bit more about this, but Torelli on the inside into turn 8 does hold on to the lead. And Gerardo's got to be careful because Pouget was looking right up the inside there through turn 10. Torelli again taking a lot of grass there on the inside, but it is still that number 12 who leads the number 5. Torelli ahead of Gerardo. Looked like they were getting a little sideways once again as Torelli runs out a little bit wider. Big swapper there for the car behind them. Can he gather it all up? Oh, one car's gone off as well and just about made the barriers, but the 158 car there, that's Florian Venturi, who was fighting for the junior class lead, having a big swapper there and gathering it up beautifully. I lost count of how many times he swapped ends on him there after he dipped his wheels into the gravel on the exit of the Mobile 1 curve. So he has rejoined the circuit and got going again, albeit a little bit further down. Another car going off there on the exit of the final corner. It's the purple-fronted and yellow-trimmed car, and that is the 35 of Thomas Compan. And this is Florian Schimpf now looking on the... Adrian Schimpf, sorry, looking on the inside of Nicola Milan into turn 2. And that might actually cost him a place to Alexander Finkelstein, because he had to check up a little bit, did Schimpf. Schimpf will still lead the junior classification, but he'll lose position overall if Finkelstein manages to find his way past. But Schimpf will have the inside line. Arduini fancies making it 3 wide there, but bails out of that one, decides to save his spare parts credits. Oh, one bit of debris going flying there as cars rubbing the exit of the corner. And Schimpf side by side here now with Alexander Finkelstein going into the Mercedes-Benz arena. And again, that inside line at turn 8 working nicely. And it is Adrian Schimpf who holds on to 5th position ahead of Finkelstein. So, top 4 it is, trying to break away now, and now Finkelstein's managed to find his way through on Schimpf into turn 11 at the Mobil 1 curve. Another car going wide through turn 11. Was that Jack Byrne in the 86? It was indeed, the junior championship leader going into this weekend. It's a great fight here for 5th position. Oh, a big moment here for Anthony Gerardo in 2nd position coming through the last corner. That has given Torelli an awful lot of reprieve, and Gerardo immediately recognising that Pouget would be on the attack going into turn 1. Pouget bouncing over those curves, but that was well gathered by Anthony Gerardo. It's the beauty of front-wheel drive. Get it sideways, plant your right foot, pray it comes back to you. Schimpf now got his mirrors full of his nearest class rival in the junior category, which is Leonardo Arduini in that bright yellow number 60 car, who is joining us from the Italian and European Championships from last year. This battle for 5th position not holding up. Now that's interesting, Milan pulling out of the slipstream of the top 3 cars there. Gerardo once again has to think about David Pouget, this time down into turn 6. He defends nicely, just about hangs on to 2nd place, 3-wheeling as they go over the curb. It's Finkelstein that time getting it well wide at the exit of turn 6. He's set about after Milan now. Coming up to the closing stages with only 3 minutes plus 1 lap left to go through the Mercedes-Benz grandstand once again, and Torelli suddenly looking a little bit more complicit up at the front of the field. Oh, complacent, I should say. 3/4 of a second, or it was his advantage, now down to half a second as they went through the 2nd timing split. Top 3 not quite breaking away as well as they did on the original start. If anything, although Gerardo had that moment a lap ago, he's gathered the gap back up very nicely. And Torelli's definitely going to have something to think about in the last 2.5 minutes plus 1 lap of this race. So behind them, Nicolas Milan in 4th, then Alexander Finkelstein 5th. Adrian Schimpf still leading the junior category ahead of Leonardo Arduini, and Lorenzo van Riet leads Guillaume Mao in the challenge class as well, in 8th and 9th overall, and then Jack Byrne completing the top 10. Back down towards turn 2. Nothing doing up at the front of the field. Got car number 9, that's Andreas Stucchi, making a move there on the Damiano Puccetti car. That was for 12th position, but they're still side by side coming down the Parabolica here. The black and gold car of Puccetti. Oh, and look at it, Torelli going very, very defensive into the hairpin at turn 6. This battle is certainly not over, despite that moment from Gerardo. Whoever's monitoring track limits at turn 6 is going to be very busy at the end of this race, but top 3, once again, could throw a blanket over them. And Gerardo looking towards the inside into turn 8. Torelli will have the line into the next right-hander, and Gerardo's got to be careful because Pouget will look up the inside and try and take advantage of that as well, but still it is Torelli leading. Again, a great defensive masterclass, like we saw last time out in Portimao, but it was right up until the final lap before Gerardo made his move. Milan, once again, getting 2 wheels into the gravel, and Alexander Finkelstein is ready to take advantage of that if he does it again. It looks like we will be starting the penultimate lap. We've got 30 seconds plus 1 lap left on the clock, so it will be 2 to go when they get across the timing line. Torelli leads again, Gerardo and Pouget, Milan, Finkelstein, Schimpf, Arduini, and we've got a safety car redeployed. Safety car has been redeployed, and that is because we have got the number 40 of Laurent Ziadis, that has parked up at what looks to be turn 6. The team Lucas Carat in the Mid-Europe Championship, and then we're going to see what happened here. Oh, well, he's already arrived on the scene, really, and I can only assume he's taken a bit of a whack on the right-hand side. Who else is involved in that as well? The 69 of Quinto Stefana. So, we've had confirmation the race will finish under the safety car. So Anthony Girardo and David Pouget have lost out on 2 laps of opportunity there to try and do anything about Gabriele Torelli. And for Torelli, he is now on course for his first victory of the season. He had a 2nd place finish at the first race at Nogaro. That hasn't, or the 2nd position last time out in Portimao, of course, in race number 2. But this will be his first victory of the season, assuming, of course, that the car doesn't break down or anything bizarre happens in these final lap and a half under safety car. The reigning Mid-Europe champion on course for maiden victory in the newly reformatted Clio Cup Series. Been close on 2 occasions, as we mentioned. Anthony Girardo will make it a 4th podium finish in 5 races, with 2nd position, and will hang on to the lead in the championship. And David Pouget will make his 3rd appearance on the podium. It will be his 3rd third-place finish of the season. All of which will have come in race 1 of the weekend, as it happened in Nogaro and Portimao, interestingly enough. So the drivers will do 1 more tour at safety car speed. It will be the 13th and final lap. That incident between Quentin Stefana and Laurent Ziadis is under investigation, or it will be investigated after the race, I should say. So we can safely assume it was contact between those 2 that led to this safety car. Final lap of the race is underway. We will end under safety car conditions. Further down in the junior classification, it will be Adrian Schimpf. So his twin brother Alejandro had contact that took him out of the race, but the Schimpf name will still be scoring good points in the junior championship. Leonardo Arduini 2nd in there, and then the junior championship leader Jack Byrne will be on the podium there. And the challenger classes will be Guillaume Mayo, Lorenzo Van Riet and Andreas Stuckey. And the gentleman class will be Mikhail Carey, and then Stefan Polderman and Samuel Chalin. For the top 3 in each of the classes. Just halfway around this final lap now. The Alpine safety car leads them around. And it wasn't the sheer chaos and contact that we saw in Portimao, but still a wonderful battle between these top 3 drivers with great respect shown. Very fair racing. Plenty of good swappers saved as well. Girardo had his moments. Milan had a couple of them through turn 11, and then of course, well, I think save of the season so far has to go to Florian Venturi for that moment at the Mobile 1 curve. We're gonna have to watch it back and see just how many times it swapped ends on him, because that was a mighty good save. So, as we did in Portimao race 2 last time out, we will end under safety car conditions. But we did end the streak of red flagged races in Portimao, at least. It was 3 in a row. But we will end under safety car. It will peel into the right-hand side. Nobody will overtake. And Gabriele Torelli leads another Rangoni Corsa 1-2. But this time, it is his first victory of the season. Anthony Gerardo holds on to the championship lead in second position. David Pouget in third, his third podium finish of the season. Nicolas Milan in fourth position. Alexander Finkelstein in fifth. Our junior class winner, Adrian Schimpf, in sixth, ahead of his class rival, Leonardo Arduini. The challenger leaders, Guillaume Mel, Lorenzo Van Riet. Oh, Guillaume Mel has just been taken out of the timing order. Now, was there a penalty there that I didn't quite spot? Well, let's see. Ah, this is the Florian Venturi moment, I think. Oh, no, it isn't. It's one of the other cars, the 77. Was that on the last lap? Can't have been. That was Jean-Louis Carpenthin. Not quite sure when that was. Yeah, question mark here over Guillaume Mao. Of course, he had the 10 seconds added from the false starting position penalty. And because we've ended under safety car, well, that's just going to plummet him right down the order, isn't it? So it will actually be Lorenzo Van Riet who takes the challenger class victory. Let's take a look at the results then. It's Gabriele Torelli for the first time this season with victory, and another Rangoni Corsa 1-2 finish with Anthony Gerardo in second, David Pouget in third, Nicolas Milan fourth, Alexander Finkelstein fifth. Then comes Adrian Schimpf and Leonardo Arduini, our junior class leaders. Lorenzo Van Riet, the challenger winner, ahead of Jack Byrne and Matthias Dahl, completing the top 10. Damiano Puccetti and Florian Venturi, 12th after that big moment at turn 11. Andreas Stucki, second of the challengers, and Thomas Campan ahead of Mauro Polderman in 15th position. Benjamin Cavall and Nuterik Knudsen, Mikhail Kari taking the gentleman class honours there in 18th position. Nikola Tosik and Calvin Compt with Daniel Niffler. Stefan Polderman, second of the gentleman challengers, ahead of Samuel Chalin. Horn and Jardier, 25th on his Clio Cup debut. Steve Compan, Guillaume Mao down to 27th position after that penalty in the end. Nava and Felix Heimberg in 29th. Michel Fay completes the top 30. Then it's Remy Belleville, Raman Lovacat, Milan Popovic, Jean-Louis Carponchin, Quentin Stefana, who we saw parked up there, Udo Brunner, Cedric Delcroix, Laurent Zidis, and Aurélien Renette, all out of the race here, as was Alejandro Schimpf, Nikola Milkovic, and Pierre Bredoux. Didn't get started there, I think, by the looks of it, did Bredoux. As Torelli makes his way into Parc Fermé for the second race in a row, and for the third time this season, it is a Rangoni Corsa 1-2 finish. And this team extending its lead at the head of the Teams Championship over Milan competition. But the 2-1-2 finishes so far have been led by Anthony Gerardo. This time it is led by Gabriele Torelli, and a bow from Anthony Gerardo to his teammate. And it was very nicely done indeed. A fantastic defensive drive from Torelli. And he lost the lead, he took it back again. And of course, a wonderful bit of wheel-to-wheel racing, not only with his teammate, but with David Pouget as well. Of course, they can't celebrate too long because they are back underway again tomorrow. The race on Sunday, which will be tomorrow afternoon. Of course, we do qualifying in another 25-minute plus one lap race tomorrow. And of course, got to pose for the photo. Rangoni Corsa 1-2 finish once again. And David Pouget giving his congratulations as well to race winner Gabriele Torelli. He doesn't seem to have broken a sweat. Got some Carlos Sainz hair, but somehow managed to stay looking great. So here's a look back at the the last 25 minutes plus 1 lap of action. It was Pouget who got the lead off the line, and Torelli from pole position didn't actually get the best of starts. He was having to defend from Gerardo into turn 1. But Torelli set about getting past Pouget very quickly, with Gerardo following him through as well. Wonderful bit of coordination there. And then a big moment here for Torelli. Shades of Portimao at the last corner as he got it a bit sideways, and Gerardo very nearly dipping his car into the gravel as well. We saw a few cars doing that. Alejandro Schimpf unfortunately parked up at the side of the road after contact. That led to the safety car coming out, with Torelli leading Gerardo. When we got underway again, it was Gerardo challenging with Pouget and Milan just behind, but Torelli made sure he got his elbows out and hung on to that lead. And then we had another incident down at turn 6 that brought the safety car out once again. That's how we ended for the second race in a row, unfortunately, under safety car conditions. But it was, for the first time this season, Gabriele Torelli taking the checkered flag first and leading his Rangoni Corsa teammate Anthony Gerardo across the line for a 1-2 finish for the championship leaders in the team standings. And Anthony Gerardo extending his championship lead over Nicolas Milan as well. We will go to the podium. And it will be Gabriele Torelli, Anthony Gerardo and David Pouget who take to the podium. As we said, 3rd podium of the season for David Pouget. They've all come in race 1. He was 3rd in race 1 in Nogaro, 3rd in race 1 in Portimao, 3rd in race 1 here at Hockenheim. But I'm sure he'll try to put that little string of results to bed when we get underway tomorrow. For Anthony Gerardo, it is a 4th podium finish of the season. Didn't quite get the 3rd win in the end, but he remains our only repeat winner. Torelli becoming the 4th different winner of the season in the 5 races we've had so far. And for Gabriele Torelli, a 3rd visit to the podium, but the first time taking the top step. Of course, in the junior classification as well, Ajin Schimpf, Leonardo Arduini and Jack Byrne there. The challenger was a bit more spread out. Lorenzo Van Rit in 8th, and then his nearest challenger, Andreas Stucki, in 13th position. That, of course, is after the Guillaume Mayo penalty there that dropped him to outside the top 25. The Rangoni Corsa representative on the podium. They are going to need a bigger trophy cabinet by the end of this season, I think, because they are showing everyone how it's done at the moment, aren't they? With a 3rd 1-2 finish of the season. David Pouget, 3rd trophy of the season for him. On the right-hand side, Anthony Gerardo gives his congratulations to the team and to David Pouget. And, oh no, you're not quite ready to take the top step just yet. I'm sure he's used to it. 2 wins so far this season, as we mentioned, but takes the 2nd place trophy for the first time this season. Gabriele Torelli on the top step of the podium. And it will be the Italian national anthem for Gabriele Torelli. Well, congratulations to Gabriele Torelli. That is all from the Clio Cup Series today. We are back out on track at 10 minutes past 5 p.m. local time for race 2 tomorrow.